The calling of the first disciples, Peter, Andrew, James, and John, and moments that led them to abandon their old lives and commit to Jesus' mission. The story begins. As the sun peeked over the horizon, casting its golden light over the Sea of Galilee, two fishermen, Simon Peter and his brother Andrew, were casting their nets into the water. They were hoping for a bountiful catch. For these men, fishing was more than just a profession, it was a way of life. They had spent countless hours on the water, learning the secrets of the sea, reading its moods and understanding its bounty. But little did they know that their lives were about to change in ways they never imagined. As they worked in the quiet morning, they saw something unusual. A man standing on the shore, his figure silhouetted against the sunrise, was watching them intently. This man was no ordinary person. It was none other than Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who had come to earth to teach and heal, and ultimately to offer salvation to all humanity. But for now, he had a special mission. He wanted to call these humble fishermen to be his disciples, to follow him and learn from him. But he didn't just want them to follow for any ordinary reason. He had a specific purpose in mind. In the Bible, fishing often serves as a metaphor for spreading the word of God and bringing people into the kingdom of heaven. Jesus, looking at Simon Peter and Andrew, saw not just fishermen, but potential fishers of men. He believed that they had the qualities and skills necessary to carry on his mission, to teach others about him and help them turn away from their sins and towards him. Yet the question remains, what did Jesus see in these ordinary fishermen that made him choose them for such an extraordinary task? Was it their dedication to their craft, their hard work and perseverance on the water? Or perhaps it was their willingness to face the uncertainty of the sea, knowing that the rewards would be worth it. Whatever it was, Jesus knew that these men were capable of great things if they were willing to follow him. When Jesus approached them, he didn't hesitate. He looked at them, not with pity or condescension, but with respect and admiration, and then he spoke, his words echoing with authority and compassion. He said to them,
"Come after me, and I will make you fishers for men." Matthew chapter 4, verse 19.
Immediately, both Simon Peter and Andrew left their nets and followed him. In that moment, they didn't ask questions or try to bargain. They simply understood that this was a call they couldn't refuse. Imagine the turmoil that must have been raging within them, the conflict between their familiar life on the lake and this new path laid out by Jesus. How did they say goodbye to their old life? Did they have spouses and children? Did they own property? Did they have debts? These questions, while important, take a backseat to the magnitude of their choice. They were leaving behind the only life they had ever known to follow a man whose teachings were stirring the hearts of many. But who knows the depths of their feelings better than their fellow fishermen? James and John, the sons of Zebedee, were also mending their nets when Jesus approached them. Upon hearing his call, they didn't just leave their nets, they left their father. This act shows the strength and immediacy of Jesus' call. He didn't ask them to prepare or think about it. He simply asked them to leave, to follow him, and they did. Imagine the scene, the setting sun casting long shadows over the lake, two young men leaving their aging father to follow a charismatic teacher. Was it easy for them? Probably not. They likely had a close relationship with their father, and the thought of abandoning him must have been agonizing. But the pull of Jesus' call was stronger. Think about Zebedee, the father left behind. How did he feel when he saw his sons abandon him? Was he angry, hurt, confused, or perhaps he understood that his sons had found a path that they needed to follow? But why did Jesus ask them to leave their father? Perhaps he wanted to show that his mission was so important that it transcended even family bonds. Or maybe he was testing their commitment, seeing if they would be willing to sacrifice everything for his cause. Whatever the reason, this story reminds us that when we answer God's call, we must be prepared to let go of everything else and follow him wholeheartedly. But why did they follow him? Why did these ordinary men leave their families, their livelihoods, and their security to follow a man whose message was causing both wonder and controversy? Let's delve deeper into the psychology of their decision, exploring the call. What compelled these men to take such a drastic step? Was it Jesus' words, his demeanor, his teachings, or was it something more profound that resonated with their souls? There are a few aspects that might shed light on their decision. First, consider Jesus' character. In this initial encounter, we see him as a teacher, a healer, and a leader. His words were filled with authority and compassion, and his very presence radiated a sense of calm and wisdom. It's hard not to be drawn to someone like that, someone who seems to have all the answers. Then there's the allure of the unknown. These men were used to the familiar routine of their lives on the lake, but Jesus represented something new, something different, and that can be exciting. The call to adventure is a powerful motivator, driving us to explore the unfamiliar and seek out new experiences. Perhaps these men were tired of the same old routine, and Jesus offered them a chance to break free and embark on a journey of discovery. Moreover, there's the element of community. These men didn't follow Jesus alone. They joined a growing group of disciples who were learning from him and sharing in his mission. This sense of belonging, of being part of something bigger than themselves, must have been appealing. Humans are social creatures by nature, and the prospect of joining a community of like-minded individuals can be incredibly enticing. Finally, there's the impact of Jesus' teachings. While we don't know the specifics of what he taught these men in those early moments, we do know that his words were transformative. Jesus taught about love, forgiveness, and faith in him. These teachings likely resonated with these men on a deep level, offering them a new perspective on life, sin, and redemption. However, it's essential to acknowledge that their decision wasn't just about these external factors. It was also deeply personal. Each man had to decide for himself whether to follow Jesus. No one could do it for them. And it was their unique circumstances, experiences, and beliefs that shaped their choices. Looking back, the decision to follow Jesus was undoubtedly one of the most pivotal moments in the lives of these four men. It marked the beginning of their journey towards becoming some of the most influential figures in the Christian world. However, it's important to remember that they weren't perfect. They had their doubts, fears, and weaknesses, but Jesus saw past their flaws and believed in them. He gave them a new identity, not as fishermen, but as his disciples, his chosen representatives on earth. This journey wouldn't be easy. It meant leaving everything familiar and venturing into the unknown. But these men were up for the challenge. They followed Jesus, ready to learn and grow under his guidance. But what about us? Are we willing to heed the call whenever it comes our way? Are we ready to leave our familiar shores and venture into the depths of the unknown with Christ as our guide? Just as the disciples once did, we too are called to be fishers of men. We're asked to spread the message of love, hope, and faith to everyone we encounter. But how do we respond to this call? Do we hesitate, make excuses, or do we dive right in? The beauty of this story lies in the fact that it reminds us that we don't need grand gestures or extraordinary circumstances to make a difference. Our everyday choices, our interactions with others, our willingness to step outside our comfort zone, all of these can lead us to extraordinary destinations. So the next time you feel the pull of a calling, whatever form it may take, remember the courage of the 4 disciples. Embrace the adventure, trust in your guide, and be prepared to cast your net into the depths of the unknown. You never know what treasures you might bring in. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share. Thank you for watching.